we have had messy elections in the past. And really, once we started getting with introducing political parties into the election process, then the contests the stakes got even bigger. It really started, I would say, with the 1800 election. We had the incumbent, John Adams, running for a second term. Thomas Jefferson, who was Adams' vice president, was also on the ticket as a Democratic Republican. So he was running opposite Adams. Then there was a gentleman named Aaron Burr, who was also running for president. And in those days, you got nominated by people within your party. They put forth your name, and if you accepted the nomination, then you were on the ballot. When all the votes were counted, John Adams came out on the short end of the stick. He did not get a second term, but Burr and Jefferson actually tied in the electoral vote. According to the Constitution, if there's an electoral tie, it goes into the House of Representatives. In the House of Representatives, you get one vote per state. Each state would deliberate with their representatives and decide who they were going to vote for. And the problem was, in the House of Representatives, it continued to stay tied as well. Jefferson and Burr, the House of Representatives, continued to vote to try to break the tie, but the states held firm to where they voted electorally, and nobody seemed to be budging, and it was getting close to Inauguration Day. Now, in those days, Inauguration Day was in March, and it looked like that we were going to go to Inauguration Day and we weren't going to have a president. Finally, Alexander Hamilton, who was George Washington's Secretary of Treasury, he's kind of sort of behind the scenes now as a political player. He negotiates behind the scenes to get, I believe it was the state of Delaware, to flip their vote to Jefferson and break the tie. And really, he did it because he hated Aaron Burr. He despised him. He did not want to see him become president. I believe quote was, I dislike Jefferson, but I hate Burr. That election was swung to Jefferson. Jefferson comes in as the Democratic Republican president, and it was the first time where you had a peaceful transition of power between one political party to another. So it's considered the revolution of 1800. A couple of things came out of that election. First of all, the passage of the 12th Amendment. Now, the 12th Amendment was put into the Constitution because the founders, when they created the Constitution, they basically set up a system where the president gets to be president because they win the Electoral College vote. The vice president is the runner-up in the Electoral College. Now, that's the system that they started with. And they did it because they did not anticipate political parties. Well, by the election of 1800, it is clear that you can't have the runner-up in the election become the vice president. Jefferson and Burr did not particularly like each other. This wouldn't work politically to have the runner-up be the vice president. So the 12th Amendment came out of that election. President and vice president are chosen separately through electoral votes. And now, of course, they're chosen, they run as a team. The other thing that came out of this election was the fact that it was a peaceful transition of power. Although John Adams did not stay around to see Jefferson inaugurated on Inauguration Day. He left the White House early in the morning and basically took what was like a stagecoach out of Washington. He wanted to get out of there before Jefferson came to be inaugurated. Now, today that wouldn't happen. You would not see a former president just leaving early in the morning and saying, I don't want to be here to see my successor be coronated. The Electoral College, if there is a tie, it goes into the House of Representatives, and it would be the lame duck House of Representatives. It would be not the incoming House that would have resulted from the election, but it would be the lame duck House, and it still is one vote per state. So even if you have several dozen representatives in the House, like California, you still only get one vote when they're voting for breaking the electoral tie.